So first things first, let's just get this out of the way. Yes, I did a name change from Glavian to Glaive. And the reason why I did that is because I got so sick of watching content creator after content creator react to one of my videos or mention me in one of their videos and either calling me that guy or this guy or mispronouncing my name. And it made me so mad because it showed me that I didn't do a good enough job with the branding of my channel. Because if other content creators are showing videos of me or are reacting to me, that's my chance to be shown to a new audience. And if you're not saying my name, it's going to make me less sticky. And so that was a branding mistake on my end. That's why I've changed my name from Glavian to Glaive. Glaive should be easy enough to pronounce. We'll see how that goes. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the main topic of this video, which is how I'm also so sick of Final Fantasy XIV content creator after Final Fantasy XIV content creator after Final Fantasy XIV content creator acting so defensive for streaming or for playing World of Warcraft. I've seen creator after creator say, hey guys, guess what? I'm playing WoW. Please forgive me. Or hey guys, guess what? I'm playing WoW. I did the dirty deed. Uh-oh, oopsie, I did the dirty. Please, don't get mad. Or, trying to justify why it's okay for them to do this. And listen, these content creators have way more to lose than me. A lot of these content creators have way more subs than I do and have been around way longer than I've been around. So I understand the trepidation. I understand not wanting to piss off the people who put food on your table. I get it. I am kind of an asshole, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just say it, right? This kind of behavior that's coming from a very small minority, but a vocal minority of the Final Fantasy XIV community is cringe and it needs to stop. Once upon a time, not so long ago, I used to sell marketing services to clients and I had a business partner and this business partner approached me and said, hey, Glaive. And I said, yo, what's up, bro? He's like, you won't believe what happened. I said, what happened? He said, I secured a meeting for you with this hotshot guy who, runs a couple dozen chains of a specific brand and they would be a great client. And you have a meeting with them that I scheduled. I'm like, okay, well, when is my meeting? And my business partner said, well, it's at 3 o'clock. And I show up at 3 o'clock and I wait and 3:05 rolls around and then, they're not there. And then 3:10 rolls around and they're still not there. And I leave, I go home. And once my business partner got wind of this, they approached me and they said, hey, Glaive, what the hell, man? Why didn't you show up to the meeting? And I said, bro, listen, bro. If right off the bat, this client is showing that they don't respect my time, that they are going to be, sleazy, or at the very least going to be relaxed with this kind of relationship, that they're not going to take it seriously, they're going to bring that attitude into the rest of our relationship with this client. Why would I appeal to a client who is going to waste my time, is going to stress me out, and is probably going to cost way more time and stress and emotional energy than they're giving me as a client? If I don't have to do that, if there are other clients I can go ahead and service instead, right? And my business partner was kind of upset about this, but that was always my mentality. Now, if that client, of course, came back and said, I'm so sorry I was late, there was this legitimate reason, I broke my leg, whatever, and I'm sorry, then of course I'd give them a second chance. But I will not go out of my way. I will not go out of my way to work with people who are going to cause more stress in my life and in the long run probably hurt my results in the long run because of the emotional stress they're going to put on me, because of the demands they're going to have on my time. Why deal with shitty people when you don't have to? And of course, the reason why I bring up this analogy is because I think it also will apply to content creation. Why appeal to the shitheads? There's going to be a minority of people who are weird, who are weirdly tribal, who are toxic, and who just want you as a content creator to confirm their biases. Don't do it. That's my opinion, right? Don't do it, because it's going to burn you out. It's going to make you feel resentful towards your channel. It's going to make you feel resentful towards your content. And what's worse, it's going to make you burn out of the game in the long run if you're only playing one game at a time. And also what it will do is it'll create a situation where it's going to be extremely difficult for you to not be biased, right? And, the reason why you will start to feel that way is because if you know that, oh, if I make a video talking about all the things that I actually do enjoy about this new World of Warcraft expansion, then what's going to happen is, there are some people in my community, there's this vocal minority who's going to go ahead and they're going to, lambast me, or they're going to dislike my video, or whatever it is. And honestly, good fucking riddance. Good fucking riddance. This is a minority of players. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think the vast majority of MMO enjoyers are reasonable, they're level-headed, they're adults, and they are, some of the smartest gamers, and I think all of the gaming industry. They're great, the vast majority. The minority, however, are extremely vocal. Who cares? Who gives a shit if someone is going to come and try to do this to you, right? And also from the perspective of a content creator, when you take a situation like we're in now, where Final Fantasy 14 is in a content lull, the next new patch doesn't hit until next month in January, and simultaneously, World of Warcraft comes out with a brand new expansion that seems so far to, be enjoyed by a lot of people. Now, is it too early to say conclusively that this is a good expansion? Of course, it's too early to say that. However, so far, a lot of people are saying that they enjoyed, and a lot of the things that people were complaining about when it comes to Dragonflight, such as the mandatory grinds, such as, the layers and layers of systems, such as the open world being so sparse that it might as well have just been a lobby for the instanced content. These things have been improved upon. Do I think that some of the hype for World of Warcraft Dragonflight is overblown? Absolutely, and I think the dust for that will settle in time, given a couple weeks, given a couple months. Now, with that said, when a content creator who makes their living making content, right, experiences a content lull in their content because Final Fantasy XIV doesn't have a new patch until next month, and simultaneously, a game that has a ton of overlap with your current Final Fantasy XIV audience comes out with an expansion that people are liking, of course, the content creators are going to go and play it. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. Now, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, even, when there was a lot less choice in the market, when there was a lot less competition in the market, when people would more frequently play one MMO and stick with the one MMO and not play anything else for years and years and years and years, it was pretty okay, and it made sense for content creators to play only one MMO because there was really nothing else to play. But nowadays, the vast majority of MMO consumers, of people who play MMOs, will play different games. And this is healthy. This is healthy because it will help people avoid burnout in any one particular MMO. And it's healthy because when people's money is being distributed across these different MMO companies, they're more susceptible to having to get their game up to compete with one another. Me right now, I'm going through the campaign in Dragonflight, and in a lot of ways, it feels to me like how playing Final Fantasy XIV has felt. And it's weird because I think in a lot of ways, Final Fantasy XIV was rehab for me as an MMO player, and it retaught me how to actually go ahead and play video. Because before I played Final Fantasy XIV, the way I'd go ahead and I would play World of Warcraft is I would skip all the dialogue. I would zoom, zoom, zoom. I would get an add-on that would, step by step take me through the most efficient leveling route so I can just get to max level as quickly as I can. And I played it like a total degenerate. And, having gone ahead and played through Final Fantasy XIV and learned how to slow down and learned how to enjoy myself and learned how to stop and smell the roses, which is not something that came natural to me, as I didn't play that way in World of Warcraft for over a decade, and I go back and I play Dragonflight and I take that approach, it's been really good. Now, is it like the best experience I've ever had so far? No, it's not. But having played it like Final Fantasy XIV makes it feel more like Final Fantasy XIV. And since the story this time so far for me has been so much more congruent than it was for Shadowlands or it was for BFA, and with the enhanced cutscenes and the more frequent cutscenes, it's felt like Final Fantasy XIV. And I think in some ways, World of Warcraft has learned from Final Fantasy XIV. And if you go ahead and you listen to Preach, who did some interviews with the Blizzard team, he will say that they talked about Final Fantasy XIV, and he says that they play Final Fantasy XIV. So it makes sense that they learned some things from Final Fantasy XIV, and they are trying in some ways to adapt the best that they can from Final Fantasy XIV without losing the spirit of World of Warcraft. Because if they made it too much like Final Fantasy XIV, it wouldn't work in a game like World of Warcraft. They're not the exact same game. Now, do they have a lot of overlap in terms of design? Yes. Do they have a lot of overlap in terms of the people who play them? Yes. But you can't copy everything tit for tat. But it does seem like they're learning from Final Fantasy, as they should. This shows humility. This shows that they don't think that they're, the king of the world anymore, and they can't get away with doing whatever they want, and people will still play the game and not go to alternatives. They know that now. And because they know that now, they finally have the humility that made Blizzard good to begin with, to say, okay, what can we learn from Final Fantasy? What can we learn from Guild Wars 2? And it taught me, so Final Fantasy has taught me how to consume World of Warcraft in a more sustainable way. And because World of Warcraft in some ways has become more like Final Fantasy 14, I'm finding it more enjoyable. Now, since, I'm of the opinion that if you're appealing to people who only want you to, stick to one game, or who treat any other alternative MMO as the devil, especially World of Warcraft. And listen, this comes from me, right? This comes from a guy who's been extremely critical of World of Warcraft, and I will continue to be as unbiased about World of Warcraft as I can be. I've been critical about World of Warcraft because World of Warcraft has sucked dick, right? And so if World of Warcraft, for any reason whatsoever, stops being complete ass, then I'll say World of Warcraft is not complete ass anymore, right? I will come out and say that. I will say the game is better now. And so far, it has been better now. Am I going to say it's great? Not yet. It's too early for me to say that. Am I going to say it's a lot better? And I just started, right? I'm going through the campaign. I didn't really get to max level or anything yet. But so far, the campaign has been relatively enjoyable. And I will continue to do that and give my opinion and leave it be as unbiased as possible. And for the small minority of people who don't like that, fuck them.